evening, everybody. Hello and welcome back. For those of you who are new to my channel, my name is Alex. I'm an apostate. I used to be the director of public book sales at the Church of Scientology in London, and now I'm doing what I can to raise awareness of what's really going on inside Scientology here in the UK and in Europe. And we have one hell of a show today. We've got a couple of big stories that I'm ready to share with you. Let's start firstly by saying hello to everybody in the chat. Hello, James Holleran. This one ought to be interesting. I thought they used to have a small failing mission on Abbey Street. Earth Admin Station 1 says, cult. Educon is here. Cults in Ireland, my fave. Absolutely. We've got some regulars in the chat. So hello, Mrs. J. Thank you for joining. And Paintbox Tunes. So the first story is to do, as you can tell from the thumbnail and the title, to do with Dublin. So Dublin Org is 7 years old, and I have some statistics to share with you about how the org has been performing over the last 7 years. But before we do that, let's have a little look at what Dublin Org looks like. So Dublin is over in Ireland, obviously, and it is officially called the Church of Scientology and Community Centre Dublin. It was a new building that was opened, obviously, 7 years ago. It looks quite nice, in fact. If you look at it, it's a brand new building with lots of glass. Let me zoom in here so you guys can see a little bit better. This is the reception area with the bookstore and all of that you can see. I'm struggling here. Here we go. It's a lovely new building. This is the cafe area, the outdoor seating area next to a lovely Gaelic football pitch. They've got a huge auditorium. Of course, there's no way they'd ever fill all of those seats, but they like to build big and make it look like they're expanding. Oh, look, they're ready for the Jive Aces, Scientology's very own Sea Org band. This is where they hold sort of seminars and graduations and that sort of thing. This is a tiny little delivery room where they do things like the personal efficiency course. This is one of the course rooms by the looks of things. Again, this is another part of their bookstore where they sell the e-meters and more advanced stuff. This is the Purif Center where they deliver the purification rundown, where you sit in a sauna for hours on end and take niacin. This is the Hubbard Guidance Center where you go to get your auditing. This is what an auditing room looks like. And they have green e-meters. So this is one thing I'm not sure everyone is aware of. Every org in the world has a color scheme, and the ideal orgs have e-meters that are made to be the specific color for that org. So Ireland obviously is green, so they have green e-meters. In London, the color was red, so we have red e-meters. And the color of the e-meter you get in each org is different based on the color scheme in that org. This is the office dedicated to L. Ron Hubbard, ready for his return. And that's the building there. So yes, looks quite lovely. It's a nice new building. Now, as I mentioned, it's 7 years old, and Scientology are, of course, celebrating. And they sent this email out to the public Scientologists, and that was shared with me, which has some statistics. So let's read through it and see what they tell us about the state of the org. I've obviously blacked out all of the information about who sent it to me and who received it and so on, but it's Dublin Org's 7th anniversary. Hard to believe 7 years have already gone by since we first opened our ideal org doors. So much has happened that it would be hard to do a full summary, so here are just a few of our accomplishments. That's right, we have welcomed over 380,000 people through our front doors since we opened, and it's not slowing down. We have another 2,200 over the next 3 days. This number is over 5% of the Irish population. Now, one thing to note on statistics like this is in a Scientology org, if you go and attend a service or something, you count as one person attending on that day. If you go back to the org the following day, you're counted again. So 380,000 people is likely to be exaggerated anyway, but it's not 380,000 different people. It could be one person going to the org every single day, and that would equate to 365 people, even though it's one person just going regularly. So I did the maths on this. One of my favorite things to do is defeating a multi-billion-dollar cult with simple mathematics, and 380,000 people through the doors is an average of 1,041 per week. or 148 per day. So they claim that's 5% of the Irish population. The population of Ireland is actually 5.2 million. So yes, if it was 380,000 different people, it would be 5% of the population. However, it's not. It's 148 people going every single day, which is much more realistic in terms of a statistic that you could expect to see from Ireland. So they're claiming 380,000, it's 148. And even that is probably an exaggerated statistic. Let's carry on. And we have successfully held over 2,350 events. That's an average of 6 per week. With all those people making it through our doors, we have had some fun. Everything from family days, charity concerts, dance competitions, football matches, dog shows, religious celebrations, and literally anything that comes to mind, we've most likely done it. While all that has been happening, we have been delivering like mad. Over the last year, we have 6,436 completions from our students and pre-clears. Now, a completion is where you finish a service. So you might buy a Dianetics book, and then you might do the book course, or you might do the purification rundown, or you might do a life improvement course. Every single thing that you do when you finish the course is counted as a completion. So if they have done 6,436 completions, many of those will be the same person, because it's not like you just do one course and then you're done in Scientology, but it works out to being 17 completions a week, or 2.5 completions every single day. Scientology claim they're the fastest growing religion on planet Earth, and they are working hard to clear the planet. Dublin is making 2.5 course completions every day. So that means their course room is clearly not filled with people. If they had a course room that was filled with 100 people every single day, they would be getting way more than 2.5 completions a day. Obviously, the stats work out to be 148 people through the doors every day, but that doesn't mean 148 people doing services, doing auditing, doing courses. It could just be people walking in for a tour, or it could be they've hired out the community center for a local event or charity or something, not actually people engaging in Scientology. So the actual Scientology stats show 2.5 completions a day. That's hardly a world-leading major religion if you look at the stats from that perspective. This includes many permanent trained auditors, supervisors, and other technical staff from numerous missions and field groups from 15 countries. We love to get people to go clear and NED case completion. And in fact, I don't know why it's cut off there with this screenshot, but it says we have made 113 clears since our grand opening. And many of them have since moved on to their OT levels in the advanced orgs around the planet. So in 7 years, they have made 113 clears. Now, in Scientology, clear is the goal when you join. That's getting rid of your reactive mind. That's the first major point that you want to get to in Scientology. And so the whole purpose of Scientology is to clear the planet, is to rid everyone of their reactive minds. So again, I did the maths. If they've made 113 clears in the 7 years that Dublin Org has been opened, that means they are making an average of 16 clears a year, or 1.3 clears per month. Hardly an indicator of an expanding religion. Now, I also looked a little bit of statistics here and did some more maths. The population of Dublin is 1.458 million. The population of Ireland is 5.28 million. So if they are making 16 clears a year in Dublin, that means it would take 91,134 years to clear Dublin, and it would take 330,100 years to clear Ireland. So the mission to clear the planet at a rate of 16 a year is going to take a very, very long time. I repeat, at this rate, it will take 330,100 years to clear Ireland, at the rate that they're currently clearing people in Dublin. We love to help everyone move up the bridge, and Public and have flown to Dublin from all over the world, in fact, from 61 countries total. That means that many auditors have been very busy delivering over 73,000 auditing hours. So an auditing hour is pretty self-explanatory. That's an hour that has been delivered in an auditing session. So you might have 2 auditors delivering 10 hours of auditing in a day, which means 20 hours of auditing delivered per day. So if they've delivered 73,000 auditing hours in 7 years, that means they're delivering an average of 200 hours a week, which is 28 hours per day. So again, it's not exactly an indicator this org is expanding if they're only delivering 28 hours of auditing delivered every single day. Because if you think about it, if you have 2 auditors that are working for 14 hours a day, that's 2 auditors full-time auditing 7 days a week to make 73,000 auditing hours in the time that they've given. So this indicates they've got 2 auditors, or maybe 3 doing less hours, but there's 2 or 3 auditors and they've made 113 clears. Oh, it's so funny. And not just in English, but our auditors also speak Irish, Russian, Macedonian, Czech, Ukrainian, Slovak, Latvian, and Croatian. And with 380,000 in through our doors, our cafe has been busy. Most who visit eat a full meal, if not sit down for coffee or tea. In fact, we have served over 1 million since we opened. I hope you enjoyed this. We certainly have enjoyed our last 7 years. It's a great time to come to Dublin Org. Hope to see you soon. ARC, the Dublin team. ARC meaning Affinity Reality Communication. So that's the stats from Dublin. It will take them 300,000 years to clear Ireland at the rate they're currently going, which is completely contradictory to what Scientology claim when they say that they're clearing the planet and there's the fastest growing religion on planet Earth. Let's have a little look at some of your comments before we move on to the next thing, because the next, I haven't put this in the thumbnail, but the next story is perhaps the biggest one of the day. Laura Q says, does anyone know if the Edinburgh Happy Hubbard Academy of Personal Independence is as pathetic as it seems? Happy is a whole nother topic for a different day. I will be doing a stream on it at some point soon. That's the Edinburgh org. Paintbox Tune says, I could believe they welcomed that many body thetans. How funny. And thank you for becoming a member, Paintbox Tunes. That is very kind of you. If you guys want to support the channel, there's memberships that gives you these cool emojis in the chat. You can also buy me a coffee, and there's PayPal and all that sort of stuff if you want to donate financially that way. Tolu London Gal says they apparently have a lot of community groups who come in and use their spaces, so bet those numbers include those too. Yes, that's one of the tactics Scientology uses to get people through the doors, is they will say to local charities and schools and groups, hey, we've got a community center, you can come and use our space for free to host your event. And they will include those numbers in that. So anyone who attended an event that's got nothing to do with Scientology, it was just hosted at their property, will be included in those numbers. Educon, the 1995 Late Show, RTE Irish TV, is a great watch if you've never seen it. I've never seen a TV show about a cult like it. I also agree. I watched that the other day. It's a great piece of TV. I will be doing a reaction video to it soon. Chad Westcoat, this is awesome. Selma says, lol, Educon madness. Absolutely. So let's move on to the next thing. I'm not going to bring that up because that's another topic for a different day. So Ireland is very much not expanding at the rate Scientology say they are. But the big news is something that's been going on over here in the UK with regard to Narconon, Scientology's drug rehabilitation center. As many of you know, last year I was working for several months with a journalist to try and look at the Narconon center here in the UK. The journalist is over at The Guardian, The Observer. It was a huge piece that came out following a 9-month investigation that Shanti Das, the journalist, did. It was a fantastic investigation, and it was a big expose. It was one of the most read articles on the Guardian website for the day. That then resulted in a follow-up investigation by the Care Quality Commission and the Charities Commission. And I was absolutely involved with both of those cases. So I've not really been able to talk about it that much other than what has been shared publicly. But yes, I've been working with the Charity Commission over the last several months to give them information about how Narconon works in the UK and how they use it as a recruitment tool for Scientology, and what the program looks like, involves taking dangerous levels of niacin and so on and so forth. And now I can finally share this news because it was published in The Guardian that the Charities Commission have concluded their investigation. Now, a little bit of context to those of you who don't know, Narconon Drug Rehab Center that is run by Scientology. The Care Quality Commission, the CQC, is the regulator for drug rehab centers and that sort of thing in the UK. They delisted Narconon from their website and said that it had nothing to do with us. We didn't regulate this service because it's holistic and therefore it doesn't fall under our regulation remit. The Charities Commission don't look at the actual course itself. They just look at how they are run as a charity and whether they are achieving their charitable aims and whether the directors are being held accountable. So these two organizations independently looked at Narconon. The CQC took them off their website and said this is not a service that we endorse, and the Charity Commission investigated separately. And this is the article that went out today in The Guardian. Scientology linked, hello, get off of this, I didn't mean to click on that. Scientology linked UK rehab centre falls foul of charity regulator. Charity Commission finds range of shortfalls at Narconon facility after observer investigation. A Scientology-linked addiction charity accused of putting vulnerable people through psychological drills that left them traumatized and in trance-like states has been reprimanded by the Charity Commission. Narconon UK was ordered by the watchdog to address a range of shortfalls after an investigation identified breaches of charity law and issues with management. Now, to be clear, the Church of Scientology is not a charity here in the UK. It was rejected charity status in 1999 by the Charities Commission, and they currently operate through an Australian registered charity called COSRECI. Narconon is a whole separate entity legally to Scientology. Narconon does have charity status, and it has had for some time, and Narconon is run independently and separately from the Church of Scientology, but it is run by Scientologists, and it is run by ABLE, the branch of Scientology International that look after their social betterment programs. So it is technically independent of the UK Scientology Church, but it is a charity and it is part of Scientology's global scheme. Let's carry on. The charity, which runs a private rehab facility in rural East Sussex, must also be more transparent about its treatment approach and links to the Church of Scientology, the Charity Commission said. The regulatory action comes after 9 months. And hold on, I'm just being distracted by the chat here. Bear with me. Okay, let's carry on. The regulatory action comes after a 9-month investigation by The Observer revealed how people seeking help for drug and alcohol issues at Narconon's Heathfield facility were subjected to psychological drills akin to those used in Scientology's auditing process. Some people who would suffer extreme reactions, breakdowns, paranoia, or going into trance-like states, according to ex-patients and staff, who were also expected to complete the program. Independent experts said the drills were reminiscent of a military boot camp or obedience training and did not appear to be therapeutic. The Observer investigation uncovered evidence of the charity downplaying its links to Scientology. A Narconon salesperson claimed in a call with an undercover reporter that the two organizations were not related. A former patient said, "You're helpless there, and the only way out is blind submission or lose thousands of pounds. If I'd have had any concept of what the program actually was, I would never have signed up." In March, a month after the Observer investigation, the Charity Commission announced a regulatory compliance case into Narconon. The watchdog has a limited role in investigating safeguarding issues, and it is not responsible for overseeing substance misuse services. But its case looked at Narconon UK's compliance with charity law, examining its governance, management and administration, its safeguarding policies, and its links to third parties. So this is where I came in. I was in touch with the Charity Commission and I gave lots of evidence and information about how Narconon is run, how it is linked to the Church of Scientology, and also provided a bunch of information about their finances and how money is made and moved around and how it is directed by Scientology International. I gave them lots of information. I spent a lot of time on the phone to them, and this has been an ongoing thing over the last few months. So I'm glad that the Charity Commission are now confirming that Narconon is part of Scientology, and they need to be more transparent about that. A spokesperson said last week it had concluded its compliance case and, after examining evidence and speaking to Narconon's trustees, had identified a range of shortfalls. It made 2 findings of misconduct and/or mismanagement related to a failure to ensure the minimum number of trustees were in place and to submit the charity's annual accounts and reports on time. We have issued the trustees with formal regulatory advice and guidance to address these issues and will follow up in 6 months' time to review the trustees' progress in doing so, a spokesperson said. The watchdog has provided the trustees with an action plan requiring more transparency about Narconon's Scientology links and the nature and effectiveness of the program. Charities must ensure they are transparent about the nature of their work and any connections to non-charitable organizations. This is particularly important when providing a service so that potential beneficiaries can determine if it is the right one for them, the spokesperson added. So the Charity Commission here is saying that because Scientology is not a charity, the Narconon need to be more transparent about their links to Scientology, which I love because it just goes to show that Scientology is not considered a charitable organization here in the UK. Sheila McLean, Narconon's UK manager, said the issues the Charity Commission flagged had been successfully resolved, adding, "We appreciate and welcome their guidance and look forward to our continued relationship with the Commission in the future." She said Narconon was proud of its record of transparency as to the source of its program and the success of its methods, and that while it was developed by Scientology founder L. Ron Hubbard, it does not require any religious belief, and a person does not become a Scientologist by doing the program. McLean added, "These facts are reflected in our literature and on our website. Tens of thousands of people are living their lives drug-free because of Narconon." Well, this is one thing that I pointed out to the Charity Commission, is that it's not necessarily about recruitment. Yes, they do try to recruit people from Narconon, but the program itself is exactly the same as the purification rundown that you do at the Church of Scientology. They do the life improvement courses. They do TRs and objectives. The course, the program is Scientology. And this is one of the things I spent a lot of time telling the Charity Commission about and reviewing the information and the course packs and all this sort of thing. And I said, look, they try and push the Narconon program as secular and non-religious when it's in the context of Narconon. But when it's in the context of Scientology, they say it's a religious program. But the program is unchanged. It's exactly the same. So it either is or it isn't a religious program. Which is it? And that's what the Charity Commission here are trying to say, is you need to be clearer about whether it's Scientology or whether it's not, because it's developed by L. Ron Hubbard and it's the same program. If you do the Narconon program and then join the Church of Scientology, and because you've already done the Purif because you've done the program, you don't need to do the Purif again to go up the bridge to total freedom. The purification rundown is the first step on this bridge to total freedom. So if you do the Narconon program, you skip that step in Scientology because it's the same program. Promoted as a holistic, non-medical and secular rehab approach, Narconon has rejected suggestions its methods could harm. It said its program required discipline and was mentally strenuous, but that feedback had been hugely positive and the results speak for themselves. McLean said the program was empirically one of the safest in the world and had saved thousands of lives. The Observer should cease interfering with safe and effective drug rehabilitation through the deliberate publication of lies, she said. Some former participants described being traumatized after taking part in the residential program, which can last 3 to 4 months and costs about £15,000. The best way to describe it is that my mind has been shattered into a million pieces. I'd lost all sense of myself, an ex-participant said. The Observer spoke to 9 people with knowledge of Narconon's UK operations, including ex-participants and staff. They described how people were asked to follow repetitive commands such as pointing at objects, sitting perfectly still, or answering the same question over and over again for up to 5 hours a day over several weeks. The exercises closely resemble training routines used in auditing, which aims to banish the thetans, spiritual beings that Scientology believe exist in every person, helping them on a path to enlightenment. I mean, that's not quite exactly right, but fair enough. Participants also spend long periods in a sauna and take high doses of vitamins, including niacin, with the aim of achieving a clear body and a clear mind. Professor Tim Miller, Professor of Substance Use and Addictions at Manchester University, said he was astonished by the allegations. During 30 years researching drug treatment in England, he said he had never seen such techniques. They are not approaches that I'm aware of being used in any other mental health context, he said. The Charity Commission's intervention comes in the absence of involvement from other regulators. While the Care Quality Commission, CQC, oversees substance misuse services, it has suggested Narconon does not fall within its remit because its approach is alternative. Records obtained under the Freedom of Information laws show that between 2019 and 2023, the watchdog received 14 complaints that it did not formally investigate or escalate, saying it had no duty to do so. There is no other regulator overseeing substance misuse services. A Department for Health and Social Care spokesperson said it was in an active dialogue with the CQC about Narconon. In the meantime, anyone with a safeguarding concern should raise them with the relevant local authority or contact the police if someone is in immediate danger. So that there is the article in The Guardian. I will add the link to this down below into the description. I'd like to add here the government. This is an example of the government stepping in and shutting down Narconon effectively. They have stepped in and the Charity Commission have said, you need to change your behavior and you need to be honest about your links to Scientology. And the government are actively engaging in conversation with the CQC, the Care Quality Commission, and with Narconon to see what can be done about it. I'd also like to add that I have reported several cases of abuse and children doing the purification program at St. Hill. And if you guys are aware of anybody doing the Narconon program, either at Narconon or at a Scientology facility, the purification rundown, please report it to the police and the local authority, as it is dangerous. People have died doing this program over in the States. It is in no way beneficial to your health to take thousands of milligrams of niacin and sit in a sauna for hours and hours a day. It is dangerous, especially for children. So, big news. That's the huge story today in The Guardian. Again, it's something that is ongoing. This is not the end of this investigation. The Charities Commission will be following up in 6 months. And as the article mentions, the Department of Health is ongoing, dealing with this in an ongoing fashion and in liaison with the CQC. So I'm glad that the result of this is now out and I can share that with you guys. This is just a taste of the sort of thing that I've been doing behind the scenes that I haven't been able to talk about for a long time. And it's just one of many things that I'm working on. Later this week, obviously it's Sunday now, so Friday is going to be the big IES event, the largest event in the Scientology calendar here in Europe, and I will be there protesting. If you guys would like to join, please go to iasprotest.com and read up on all the information. You're welcome to join us in East Grinstead, but this is a huge win for us as a movement. But it doesn't mean it's over. There is a lot of work still to be done, and Scientology are actively trying to suppress our freedom of speech and our rights to assemble. And that's something they're trying to do through a public spaces protection order. So that's going to be ongoing. If a PSPO is granted, this will be the last time a protest will take place at St. Hill. A PSPO lasts for a minimum of 3 years, and it is reviewed and extended and so on, and it can be done indefinitely. So if a PSPO is put in place after this year's protest, we won't know until January, but if it does get granted, that means this will be the end of protesting at St. Hill, and it will pave the way for protests to be banned outside all Scientology buildings in the UK. So there's a lot riding on this protest, so I really want to make the most out of it and make sure that we are there in force in a kind and compassionate way and making sure our voices are heard. and that we are doing our best to spread the message that there is help available should you need it if you want to leave Scientology. So this Friday is going to be a big one, and there's a lot riding on it. As I said, it could potentially be the last time we're allowed to protest there. I've got these cards printed, which are fantastic, from the Aftermath Foundation. It says, need help leaving Scientology, call us, with the UK phone number there and a QR code on the back. We've got loads of those to hand out. We've got t-shirts and that sort of thing. So yeah, anybody is welcome to join. This is the website Mrs. J's put up. Thank you, iesprotest.com. Please come and join us if you can. Somebody here is asking, Tolu London Gal, will you be streaming the protest? Yes, I will. We will be live streaming from St. Hill all 3 days, the Friday, the Saturday and the Sunday. Also, I can confirm the police have now authorized our march down St. Hill Road. So we'll be doing the same thing as we did last year. We're going to be marching from the town centre down through the High Street, along Turners Hill Road, and then down St. Hill Road. We will be given a police escort to keep us nice and safe. There'll be a temporary road closure for us to march in the road, just like we did last year. So let's have a little look at some of your comments. I've been starring. Paintbox Tunes. Oh, I've already brought that up. Thank you so much. Educon. The Observer should cease interfering with safe and effective drug rehabilitation through deliberate publication of lies. Yes, that was an excellent quote, and it just shows Scientology's attack method when it comes to negative press about its actions. Irina Posner, really? No St. Hill UK will really do that? Yes. So it's been an ongoing issue for several weeks. The Public Spaces Protection Order is a months-long process, and essentially they are going to review and they're going to watch our protests this year to assess whether we harass anybody, whether we obstruct the public right of way, whether we engage in any sort of religious hatred or discrimination. And based on their findings, they will then conclude whether or not they need to go forward with the PSPO, at which point there would be a public consultation period over the next few months. And in January, the Mid Sussex District Council Cabinet will meet to review the evidence and the outcome of the public consultation and decide on whether to implement a Public Spaces Protection Order. So we're at the very beginning of this process, but it is all riding on how we behave on Friday. So thank you for your comment. A. Jansen, Alex is Scientology's enemy #1 in the UK. Yeah, I've had a couple of people say this, and it really wouldn't surprise me. There's definitely a huge op against me at the moment. I've had private investigators following me. I've had people trying to interfere with my personal life. I've had emails. I've had hate messages on social media. I've had several thousand attempts to hack into my website, Scientologybusiness.com. They are trying very, very hard to shut me and shut the protest movement down. And so all we've got to do is just, stay firm, stand our ground and do what we can to not back down. I also wanted to bring you some information about the charity gala this year. So the IES event happens every year. It's a 3-day event. The Friday is the big main IES event. The Saturday is the Patrons Ball, which is where Scientologists donate loads of money and they get big trophies and a big reward for donating money to the International Association of Scientologists. And then on the Sunday is the charity gala. That's where they donate £50,000 to various charities. And here we have the list of charities this year that will be receiving Scientology's £50,000 donation. This year, the list is Kent, Surrey and Sussex Air Ambulance, the Bluebell Steam Railway, East Grinstead Sports Club, East Grinstead Rugby Football Club and Crowborough Athletic Football Club. Now, this is one thing that I really wanted to highlight. I have no problem with charities receiving money, and quite often charities really do need all the money and support that they can get. But the problem is Scientology are only donating this money because they want to use it for PR, and they want to use this as an opportunity to get these charities to speak perhaps against our protest, because the sports club and the rugby club are neighbours of St. Hill. And as part of the public consultation period, they need to evidence that our charity was disruptive to the local community. So by chucking 50 grand to the 2 charities that are local, hopefully they will be inclined to issue statements that say the protest was disruptive to their business. is, I can imagine, Scientology's tactic here. I don't know this for sure, of course, and I'm not suggesting that it's a bribe, but it is definitely telling that Scientology have chosen these charities to give their £50,000 to. And all I would say is it right for these charities to accept this donation when Scientology has been convicted of fraud on multiple occasions in Europe, and there are so many worrying allegations of human trafficking, child trafficking, harsh manual labor, and hard punishments, and that sort of thing? It's something that is concerning, and whether it is ethical to accept a donation from this group is something I really hope these charities consider. Mark the Dorset SP here says no donation to the mayor's charity. Yes, that is what I think is actually quite hilarious. Last year, the mayor attended the IES event and took a £50,000 donation for his charity. That then resulted in a double-page spread in the Daily Mail after I pointed out the close ties Scientology have to the council, and there was a big hoo-ha that's been ongoing with East Grinstead Town Council ever since. This year, for the first time in many, many years, the mayor's charity is not on the list of charities to receive a donation at this year's IES event, which I think is very telling indeed. I also have here a list of the the performers that will be performing at the charity concert. So again, this is what's happening on the Saturday. Where are we? Here we go. So Stanley Clarke, a 4-time Grammy and Miles Davis award-winning jazz bassist. Stanley's journey began in Philadelphia. Clarke's career took a significant turn, and the formation of the jazz rock fusion band Return Forever. Mark Isham is going to be there, and this is all of his accolades. He's got Oscar and Golden Globe nominations. He has won Grammy and Emmy awards. So Mark Isham and Stanley Clarke will be performing at the IAS charity gala on Sunday. They are both Scientologists. There are a number of other people performing, of course, including the Jive Aces, Scientology's own Sea Org band. Mark SP says here, not the bloody Jive Aces. Yeah, exactly. So that's what we've got in store for us on Sunday. As I said, if you guys want to come along and be there and be a part of the action, please do head to iasprotest.com or send me an email and I will add you to the list. Haggis Basher said, too bad Adele can't help you out. Yes, Adele did own a property next door to Scientology for sure. And that's a whole nother story. Haggis Basher here says, are you worried that they will send shit disturbers to create the chaos necessary to disallow your protests? Yes, absolutely. They will almost undoubtedly send people to infiltrate the group and try and stir people up and rile us up and get us agitated and encourage us to break the rules. It's something Scientology have been doing for years, and I really wouldn't be surprised if they try and do it this year. Of course, a protest is something that happens in public. Anybody can take part, anybody can join the protest, and it's in a public space. So it's going to be really hard to manage that. All I will say is if you are there and you find yourself starting to get riled up or agitated, or somebody is kind of like confronting you or trying to encourage you to engage in some sort of aggressive activity or behavior, just take a step back, grab one of the organizers. We'll have radios and we have a security person there and we'll have high-vis jackets. Come and grab us, let us know what's going on, and we will do our best to try and diffuse the situation. If you need to take 5, go for a walk, get a breather, please do so. We do not want any sort of confrontation or aggressive behavior. We don't want to harass anybody attending the IES event. This is a peaceful demonstration, and we are not protesting the Scientology beliefs. We are protesting the abuse that is going on inside the organization. So if you do find yourself being riled up, please just take a step back, take a breather, and just don't rise to the occasion. That's all I can say. Tolu London Gal here asking the same question. It's so important you keep up your message with compassion and love. Make sure you don't have any troublemakers that Scientology may try to encourage to come and plant to ruin everything. Exactly. Kindness and compassion is the way forward, and that is how we are conducting ourselves this year at the protest. This is our message. It's one of kindness and compassion. We want to help these people and make sure that they are aware of the support services and resources available to them should they choose to leave. That's why we're there. That's the message that we want to get across. And we want to do so with kindness and compassion, not with aggression. So those are the updates from me. It's definitely been a big week, and it will be another big week ahead of us. Craig here with a comment just before we wrap up. With the police and council keeping an eye on both protesters and Scientology front of gate staff, do you think they will still have the big sign on the bushes opposite and planters outside? Yeah, that's an interesting one. They planted this hedgerow opposite the entrance of St. Hill, which the council have ordered them to remove. I do expect that to still be in place for this year's protest. However, it will have to be removed for next year, because they only have, I think, 2 more weeks in which to remove it. So it's likely that that will be there. The planters, again, absolutely. Who knows whether they will be there again or not this year. But I do have a meeting with the police chief of Sussex Police, or Mid Sussex, I think, police on either Monday or Tuesday, tomorrow or the day after, where I will be visiting St. Hill with the police, and I will be showing him the concerns about the obstruction of the right of way and going over where we want to stand as protesters and where they try and block the right of way to stop us from gathering. And that's all stuff that I'm going to be doing on site with the head of the police in the next couple of days. And of course, I will bring you updates as to what they say. But yes, that's it from me, guys. Thank you so much for joining. Excellent news here in the UK. We are making progress, but let's not forget this is the start of a very long battle. The odds are very definitely stacked against us, and this is going to be a very long battle that we have in terms of making sure abuse stops in Scientology and we are allowed to continue protesting. If you guys want to support the channel, please give this video a thumbs up. Please leave a comment down below after the live stream is finished. And don't forget, if you want to support financially, you can buy me a coffee. There's PayPal links down below, super chats and memberships, and all of that are really appreciated. But also don't forget, share this video on social media, get the news out there. Narconon is in trouble, and they are very definitely a part of Scientology. The Charities Commission has decided. Guys, that's it from me for now. And as always, I'm on war footing and I'm not fucking about.